All right, we are live here with episode 3 of Chat.Dance.Love with the lovely Dijha Allen. Welcome to episode 3. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Ginger?
I'm well. We just had a fun time here at the studio. We did a Mirabelle's Magic. So we had a busy night. It was so cool. The kids got to learn some fun new things. So
Oh, I'm sure
glad
that was so
to
fun.
yeah, glad to see people moving and having fun again. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't tell Olivia that because she's going to be very upset with me because I actually forgot. I forgot to sign her up. She wanted me to sign her up for it. Ooh, yeah.
it'll be okay. I won't tell her. So
I
I
will tell her.
wanted to go ahead and get into today's topic because um, I know that you actually coach people with health and nutrition and taking care of yourself.
Mhm.
And so I thought, a lot of what we talked about in the first 2 episodes was a lot of like parents taking care of themselves, making choices to um, manage their health and mental health, physical health.
Mhm.
But a lot of people want to do that, but they don't actually do it. And you actually did it. So I love to dive into that.
Sure.
So kind of tell me about your journey to make some health changes in your life.
Sure. So I think the main catalyst for me is this condition that I have, which is called polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS for short. I don't know. I could explain it. I don't know if I know a lot of people may not have heard of it, but it's actually a pretty common condition. Like 1 in 10 women have this condition, and it's basically a hormonal imbalance in the body, and it causes lots of issues.
Mm,
So many, and it from woman it changes from woman to woman, like the kind of symptoms that um you may, each woman may have might be different. But for me, I dealt with weight gain and inability to lose weight, fatigue, um appetite, like strong appetite. And
mm,
so I mean, I've had this condition since I was a teenager,
okay.
and I just accepted it. Like it didn't I was just living with it for a really long time. But I feel like
Right.
after I had kids, I started just really struggling with my weight. And my weight has always been an issue for me.
Mm,
Probably because of the PCOS, but like after I had my 2 kids, I had gained a lot of weight and it just wouldn't come off no matter what I was doing. And so
right.
that was the catalyst. I wanted to make changes. And the interesting thing is, I was actually already what I thought eating healthy. Like I was
Okay.
health conscious, and I felt like I'm doing oh, I have to turn off this monitor. Sorry. If you hear kids screaming in the background, the kids are
That's
here.
life, right?
That's like um right now. Um sorry. So um the the weight gain was just like really frustrating, and
Right.
I felt like I was doing all the right things, but nothing was helping. So I just was feeling so frustrated, and I started for the first time really like doing research into PCOS because like I said, I had it for so long. It was just something I lived
Right.
with, and I just felt like, oh, there's probably nothing you could do about it. But when I started researching, I found out actually there are things I could do about this, and I didn't know. No one ever told me. And I found out
Mhm.
that lifestyle was actually one of the best ways to address PCOS and start feeling better. So even though, like I said, I felt like I was eating healthy, I wasn't actually eating the best way for me. And
Okay.
so I started by really changing the way I ate. And the biggest thing for me was like sugar
Okay.
and really high carb foods. And this is not like I'm not saying carbs are evil, but like
Right. But for your situation,
for
yeah.
my situation, um, when I started making those changes, the weight started coming off, and it was almost like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, it was that easy.
Something that simple.
So simple, because prior
Yeah.
to me making those changes, I was actually eating a lot of carbs. I was a vegetarian. And the typical
Okay.
vegetarian diet is like super high in carbs, and I was eating all of them. Yeah,
Right.
so I kind of did a 180 on my eating.
Mm.
Yeah, and not only did the weight start coming off, but other things started happening, and it was amazing. And this is, I'm sure other women are watching this. I don't know how deep you want to go, but like one of the things with PCOS is some women don't get their monthly cycle. And I was one of those
Okay.
that never got, sorry, my phone is beeping, never got my cycle. I
Okay.
needed to take medication to just have a monthly cycle.
Oh,
And
wow.
I wasn't taking the medication at the time that I was going through this health transition. But for the first time in my entire life, I started getting a period like without medication.
Oh,
That was
wow.
a thing that was like shocking to me. Um,
Right.
and let me know like, wow, this is amazing. And all you did was pretty much change the way you eat
Yeah.
to get these changes. And like doctors never told me that to do that. They just said, oh, take medicine, So I'm like, why didn't you tell me
Right.
this? So
Right. Why change your diet is a lot gentler on your body than medication.
yeah, right. Right. Because the medications come with, they can be helpful, but of course they come with all kinds of side effects. So yeah.
Right. So you mentioned kind of getting some of the carbs out, cutting out some of the carbs,
Hmm.
um, and kind of making, were there other changes that you made besides that?
Yeah. I started eating more just like whole foods. So just like I like to say like real food, like
Mm,
food that's more closer to nature, what it would look
okay.
like in nature. So I got rid of a lot of the like the processed and like junky foods out of my diet. So I
Got
really
you.
just started eating more of a whole foods based diet, and not 100% of the time,
Right.
but most of the time. And that's also the thing that I was almost surprising, was like, I don't even have to be perfect about this. Like, I just need to
Right.
do this most of the time. Most of the time, eat whole foods, and those changes, you know, were still continuing to happen in my body. So it definitely wasn't about being perfect. But yeah, just like real whole foods. I mean, kind of boring, but yeah, that's what I did.
Can you give me an example? Like, what are like your favorite whole foods that you like to enjoy?
Um, Eggs. I love eggs.
Okay.
They're so versatile because
Yeah.
I not only eat them for breakfast, I'll eat them like for any meal of the day. I think they're good for meals and snacks too.
Mm,
Um, Chicken, but like would do different. Chicken can be prepared in so many different ways. Like
right.
I would start doing like chicken salads. Like I would just get like a rotisserie chicken and cut it up and make a chicken salad.
Okay.
And so simple. And one of the things for me is I'm very simple. Like none of this is gonna sound like amazing. I don't really eat like amazing sounding meals, honestly, most of the time. Most of my meals are
Right.
just very simple, quick, and easy because I am a mom and I'm super busy and I don't
Right.
typically have the time to make elaborate meals. So
Right.
yeah, as I said, eggs is one of my favorites. Proteins like chicken, um, you know, turkey.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to think. What else do I really enjoy? Um,
Basically, things that aren't sold with a barcode.
yeah, for the most part, for the most part,
Things that don't have a barcode
for
on
the
them.
for the most part, because I was one of those before I made
Right.
these changes. I did eat a lot of sugar, and so I would be
Okay.
one that wouldn't even eat like a full meal. Like my meal would be, I'm just gonna have some snacks, and that's my
Mm,
meal. But now I feel like I'm actually really
got you.
eating things that are more satisfying. um yeah,
Got
so
you.
I mean, my meals, like I said, they're really simple. It's really, I try to get a lot of protein in,
Mm-hmm.
and vegetables. I love vegetables, so I eat a lot of vegetables, a lot of green vegetables. my favorites, but I'm not like I season them. They're not bland. Like I'm
Okay.
not eating anything that I hate. That's one thing I will say. Like
Okay.
I enjoy the food that I eat, because if I didn't enjoy
Right.
it, I wouldn't have been able to continue this for this long.
Right.
I
How
find
long have you been doing it?
this has been like 2 years since I made this change. 2 years, yeah, since I made this drastic change from like the high carb, high sugar to what I'm
Right.
doing now. And I would describe what I do for the most part as a low carb way of eating,
Okay.
but I'm
Hmm.
not super strict about it anymore. When I first started, I
Right.
was more strict about it, but now I realize like I don't have to be as strict as I was. And
Right.
I'm not like counting the carbs, but I just kind of know my meals are going to be comprised of mostly protein, um, and vegetables and like healthy fats. Like I love
Got you.
avocados. Oh my
Mm.
goodness. That's
So do
another thing.
I.
Avocado toast. Oh my goodness, it's so good. So yeah, so that's kind of what, and my meals are comprised of it, but I do also have treats because
Mm.
I have found one of the things that I have done is just like found a way to make over things that I enjoy. So I
Right.
found a way to still get my sweets, but in a healthier way.
Got you. How do you talk to your children about their food choices? Because that's
Um,
always a challenge. Because
yeah,
kids are always, and it depends on the day. Like today,
yeah.
I don't
Oh
eat
yeah.
green
Oh yeah.
things. Like
Oh yeah, it's like one day they love the meal that I gave them, and then I give them leftovers from the night before, and they're like, "I don't like this." I'm like, "You just ate this last night, and you really liked it." Like, that's so weird. But my kids are very aware that I am like health conscious. I do talk to them about, you know, nutritious food, but I'm not super strict about it either, because I don't want to give them a complex about it, and I want them to
mm,
know that they can
that's
have
important.
balance. So, and I've gotten better, honestly. I think I used to be stricter when they were younger, but I just, as they've gotten older, I've realized like I can't control everything that they put in their mouth. Especially they're at school every day. They're wanting to eat some of the foods that are provided in
Yeah.
school, and I'm like, okay. But they do know that eating healthy is important. They understand that. I always tell them
Mm,
like, make sure you're always pairing your food with, you have a fruit or a vegetable, you
right.
know. Um, and it's so funny. They actually gave me a nickname. Um, Avery came up with this nickname. I'm known as Vegetable Mom in the house. Because they know I'm always like, gotta eat your vegetables.
Right.
Yeah, so I talk to them openly about how important it is to like eat healthy, makes you strong,
Right.
makes you smart. They know that. But again, I don't like deprive them
Right.
from other things too. I want
That
them to
makes
have
sense.
balance and be able to kind of when they get older, be able to feel like they can make choices
Right.
about what they eat.
Kind of give them the tools.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I do have to push them a little bit with
Right.
like the vegetables, and I try to, let them be. But like sometimes I'm like, you know what? Here's your veggies first. Eat that. That's your first course.
Right.
And then you could have the rest of the food that you want, or, I have little tricks.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to teach them some real skills. So,
Yeah.
what what difference have you seen in yourself? Like, has your energy changed? Has you like some like any other changes you've seen with yourself, whether it's physically, mentally, having made a change for yourself?
Absolutely. I feel like this health transition that I've made, and realizing that I had the power to take control of PCOS and get healthier, it's been empowering to me.
Mm,
It has just improved my confidence in myself. It's given me a sense of like, I'm in control of my life here. Like I can make positive changes that can help me lead a better life. And yeah, so I feel more confident. I feel I mean, so that's just like the mental and emotional part, but like physically I feel better too. I feel good. Like I know that my body is more so kind of working the way that it should. I know that my
Mm,
hormones are, or, speaking specifically of like my hormones are more imbalanced. I feel
right.
more energetic. I'll be honest, I still do struggle with fatigue because that's one of the things about PCOS that I do struggle with from time to time. So some
Mm,
days are better than others, but like I definitely feel like I have more energy for the most
mm,
part.
yeah.
Um, I I mean definitely have lost weight and I feel better in my body.
Mm,
Um, and I mean this has also like catapulted me into the world of health coaching too, because for me, I just believe that health and self-care is so important, especially for us moms. And
right.
not just for us, but for our families. I mean, our kids are watching us. Um,
Yeah.
and also we want to be the best like version of ourselves, right? For our kids and our families. And so I just don't feel like you can like this health is so such a big part of that, and not just physical, the mental, the emotional. Um, it's just given me so much. Just this one
Mm,
change that I've made has given me so much.
right.
Yeah.
So you touched on something that I wanted to ask you. I wrote it down. How did you go from making a change for yourself to now coaching other people?
I when I experienced what I experienced, I was just like, "Oh my goodness. I need to like share this message and help other people."
Right.
Because I do truly believe that like health is wealth. And
Mm,
I've just seen also like I've seen so many people suffer, like in my own family, suffer with health conditions that honestly they probably didn't have to suffer with, right? Maybe
mm,
they didn't realize there was something they could have done about it.
right.
And I want to encourage other people, especially women. I just have like a heart for women and moms like me. And I want them to know that I want to encourage them to take better care of themselves because they're going to feel better. And then in turn, it's going to be a blessing to their family, like their the kids that are watching them. It translates, I feel like, to all of their to the whole family and to the other people in in your life when you start taking better care of yourself.
Right.
So it was just, and I just love it. I love talking about all things health and wellness, and
Yeah.
um, it's become a passion.
One of the things that I think, well, definitely people need a coach, right? So many people, I think, like New Year's resolutions, people will start
Yeah,
out, I'm going to do this, or on Monday, that's my thing. I'm going to do this starting on
yeah,
Monday.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you're like, all right, it's Wednesday and
Mhm.
it goes out the window. What
Yeah.
what tips would you give? I mean, one of the things you mentioned is like you're not that strict on yourself right now. But like
Mhm.
what are some things that people could do to kind of get them through that like, well, kind of I messed up, so what's the point? Just
Yeah.
throw the whole thing away.
Well, one thing is I tell people, clients, that it's not all or nothing. And a
Mm,
lot of times, and I used to have this mindset that's all or nothing, black and
right,
white.
right.
I'm either on a diet or I'm not on a diet. I'm either eating healthy today or I'm not, or I messed up, so I have to go back and just throw in the towel. Like it's not all or
Mm,
nothing. The small things matter. And
right.
the small changes matter. And I feel like a lot of the reason why people end up, making those New Year's resolutions and then by Wednesday it's like out the window is because we probably are trying to do too much in a short amount of time. I feel like
Mm,
you can't overhaul like your whole life or your health and at once. It's like little by little baby steps. I
right.
think it's so important. Start with something. Start with a small goal, whether it be eating more vegetables, eating more fruit, whether it be walking more. Start with something that's
Mm,
actually sustainable because it's not about, for me, what I would tell anyone who really wants to make a change is you want changes that are going to last. So you need to actually do things that are sustainable for you for your life. And like for us as busy women, we have absolutely busy lives. So we need to be realistic about what we actually can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because consistency is the most important thing. If you start out saying, oh, you're going to eat, I don't know, smoothies all day and you're going to
Oh, I
work out
can't stand
2 hours a day,
smoothies.
like, you're not going to be able to keep that up. That's impossible.
I'm glad you said that. I mean, I've seen there's lots of diets out there where it's just like drink the shake, drink the smoothie, and I personally, I'm like, I can't stand those things. It's gross to me. I'd much rather eat a whole piece of fruit than blend it into a puree like baby food.
Right.
But yeah, I think the thing that is doable is your approach of like whole food, like real food, not
Yeah.
a formula that's not sustainable over the long
Yeah.
run. Like, how do you actually get to a point where you're doing it and it's something that you keep doing throughout your life? You're not likely to drink the magic drink for the next 50 years. So,
Exactly. Yeah. So just start with small goals, small, doable, sustainable goals.
right.
And don't beat yourself up if you mess up, because you're going to mess up too. But it's not
Yeah.
about perfection. So it's
Right.
okay if you mess up. That's part of it. I like to think of it like 80-20. Like
Okay.
when it comes to nutrition, eat healthy, right? And everyone's version of healthy is going to be different, right?
Right.
Depending on each person's goals. But whatever healthy is to that person, whatever kinds of foods they want to be eating, do that 80% of the time. And for most people, though, whole foods are the way to go, no matter what kind of way you eat. That
Right.
it's kind of across the board an accepted kind of standard, right? More
Right.
whole foods, more real food. So if you could do that 80% of the time, you're doing good.
Right.
And if you
Right.
mess up one day and eat nothing but junk food all day, it's okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's a new day.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you found that um kind of the affirmation? So I'm thinking back to episode 1 where several of the moms were talking about using different apps or kind of planner calendars that have daily affirmations. Do you think
Yeah.
any of that kind of plays into kind of the thoughts, especially that we kind of have, sometimes the biggest problem is that we sabotage ourselves. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's a mindset change more
Yeah.
so than anything.
Absolutely. I think the mindset is actually the biggest thing, because most of us have probably tried a diet or more than one. I know I was like the diet queen. I had tried almost everything that you can think of. And
Right.
if you quote unquote failed at those diets and you want to make a change, you could think to yourself, I've tried it before and I'm not going to be able to do this.
Right.
And that's not true. But we can tell
Right.
ourselves that, like, no, this is not going to work for me. I tried before.
Mm.
What's the point of trying again? But saying affirmations, I think, and of course, I mean, even if you don't at first believe it, I think there's just power in saying it.
True.
I think it's personally, affirmations have been really powerful for me because I do have a lot of negative thoughts in my head. And I think we all do. But we don't have to accept those negative thoughts. And I think the affirmations can help to counteract the negative thoughts that do pop up in our head.
Right.
So I do have an app on my phone. It's I Am Affirmations, and it does.
Is that IAM?
Yeah, I am. And I really
Right.
love it because it just it pops up on my phone throughout the day with an I am, empowering message. And I'm like, I needed that. It just something about it. And then I'll
Right.
read it and say it to myself. And sometimes it's just a right on time. I really needed
Mm.
that. And
Right.
and then these things stay in my head. And I've even started doing having the kids do affirmations. So now
Oh,
every
nice.
single morning we try to start the day before anything else with affirmations. And I found some on YouTube that are like kid focused affirmations. And I'll tell Olivia, like, remember those affirmations throughout the day when you're in school, and keep saying those to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get those things and I'm going to link it into the comments for everybody afterwards because I know people were like, wait a second, where's that app? I'm trying to get the app. I want to find
Oh,
the
yeah.
app. So I'll link it
I am.
into the comments
Okay.
for
Yeah.
the replay. So, do you have any advice for somebody who wants to get started? Like, they're kind of sick of where they are right now, but they don't know what to do. They don't want to do a diet per se. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to make a change in terms of their lifestyle to kind of feel better?
One thing I would say is get an accountability partner. Doesn't have to be like an actual coach that you pay for. I mean, you could do that too, but like someone in your life that you can be accountable to and share your goals with them, whoever that person is, and then ask that person to truly keep you accountable to the goals that you're setting for yourself. I think
Right.
that's really, really great thing to have, for the moments when you feel weak or you feel like giving up. And then honestly, it's like what I said before, which is like, start small, start with, don't try to do like a whole overhaul on Monday. Start, make a
I'm going to
list.
start exercising. I'm going to change the way I eat. I'm going to do my
Exactly.
affirmations all on Monday.
Right. So I would say, like, make a list of
Okay.
all the changes that you like to make. Make a list of
Right.
all of them. And then pick one or two, maybe three, that you want to start,
Right.
now or soon. And then keep track of those. And you don't have to like wait until you've mastered one thing to move on to another thing, but at least
Right.
get comfortable with. So if you're starting with, I'm gonna start drinking 8 glasses of water a day, right? Okay, do that for 2 weeks, right? And then I'm just throwing out. There is no like magic
Right.
time,
Right.
but and then after 2 weeks and you feel like, okay, this is feeling good. I'm kind of in this routine. Then go to the next thing. If the next thing is like, I want to walk 15 minutes a day. Okay. Add that.
Right.
And little by little, I think we want the changes to happen overnight, but they don't happen overnight.
Right.
And the thing is, changes are more sustainable when they happen like slowly. Like I
Gradually.
said, a
Right.
reason why a lot of people end up like stopping is because they try to do too much too quick, low. And then I would say let your family know what you're doing, right? And ask your family also to hold you accountable. Like, let them know, hey, explain to them why, your health is important to you. And get them to kind of just be a support system. I know that can be
Right.
hard. It can be hard depending. Sometimes people feel like they
Yeah.
don't have the support they need at home. I know it can be hard to like, if you have a whole bunch of like junk food in the house for the kids, that can be difficult. So, I'm just saying, at least take the step of letting your family know, hey, this is what I want to do.
Right.
And I need your support. And then like
Mm-hmm.
saying, here are some ways you can support me. Like,
Right.
okay, if you really feel like you need to have Oreos in the house, put them in the back of the cabinet. Don't let me know they're there. Like, just whatever
Yeah.
it is. Sometimes I know, like, out of sight is out of mind. Like, if I see, I'm speaking to
Totally.
people who are like me. Like, if I see the Oreos, I'm gonna want them.
Right.
But if they're in the back of the
If it's a
cabinet,
bowl of berries in front.
exactly. Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's another great tip is I'll keep healthy foods out where you can see them, where they're visible. But yeah, ask your
Yeah.
family to help. Let them know that again, this is an important goal that you have, and
Yeah.
you want their help. Um,
Yeah.
oh goodness. Yeah, I think small sustainable changes and give I think it's so important to give yourself grace. and
Yeah.
commit, like make a commitment to yourself. I just
Right.
heard someone say, like this motivational speaker was saying, if you have to be to work like every day at 9 o'clock, right? You're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
at work. You're gonna be at work at 9 o'clock because they told you need to
We
be to
hope
work at
so.
9 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times we don't keep the commitments that we make to ourselves, and like, why is that?
Right.
And so we need to kind of shift the mindset to like, no, I'm gonna keep this commitment to myself. I'm gonna follow through. And like I said, it doesn't
Right.
mean that you're getting it all right all the time, but it means that you're committed. You're not going to give up on your goals. You're going to
Right.
stick with it no matter what, even when you fall off
Right.
track. You're going to come back to it, make that commitment to yourself.
Right. This has been such a good conversation, an important conversation, because it's really more about your overall health and taking care of your body. It's not like, oh, let's lose weight. Let's do, like unrealistic goals or fad diets and things like that. So if people want to follow you, my dear coach, where can they find you online?
I'm on Instagram
Okay.
at healthcoach_Dijha. And that's,
Awesome.
yeah, you can find me there. I'm there every day
We'll
posting.
link you in the
Yeah, if you
comments.
want some, I post a lot about self-care. I mean, I started out focused more so on PCOS because that's, what I've been through. But I
Right.
kind of found that I wanted to talk more about kind of more things. So I've kind of recently made a shift to focusing on like just wellness and self-care, stress
Right.
management, especially for women and moms. So that's the direction I'm going in now.
Awesome. Love it. Well, thank you so much for doing episode 3, Miss Dijha, with Chat.Dance.Love. I think, like I said, it's a really important conversation to have around taking care of ourselves and identifying what's going on in our lives so that we can make those changes. And thank you so much for sharing some tips for accountability partners, biting off small little chunks, and not trying to overhaul everything by Monday. So I'm sure people will find fun little tidbits to take from this conversation. And I just want to thank you so much. We
Thank
are
you for having
signing
me.
off. Oh, you're so welcome. We are signing off from episode 3. Goodbye, everyone.